Yeah, so name is Chris Porter. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a web designer, UI designer, music producer, creator from East Cleveland, Ohio. Actually, around what is that street called? Lakefront. Yeah, Lakefront. Went to Shaw High School. How I got to design. First I started, drawing, sketching, and everything. I used to be big in that, and then I was also big in computers. So I started, putting both of the two together and started doing design. And so started designing Paint Shop Pro and Microsoft Paint and all that stuff. And that stuff was all fun, cool. But then I had started taking these classes at Shaw, commercial art classes, and started using Photoshop and started using Dreamweaver and coding and everything. So been doing design since I was 12 and coding since I was 12. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, man, me and you met. We met at the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. So tell them about, a little bit about Pittsburgh, what you studied, and what brings you to LA.
So I studied web interactive media design. So we learned a lot of the basics of web design, down to UI design in a sense. And about 4 years, got my bachelor's. Before I graduated, I started working at this place called Buzz Honey. It was a web design marketing agency. So we did stuff with Giant Eagle and UPMC. Stayed there for about 4 years, and then found out that I was still hungry for more, and I felt like I kind of reaching my max in Pittsburgh. So I started hitting up people that were outside. I was thinking of going to DC, Atlanta. So then my friend Ben in LA, he does motion graphics. He was like, yo, people hit me up to do websites. I don't do websites. They'll pay $5,000. I'm like, you should be out here doing websites. I was like, word. Got my little ticket, started selling everything, selling and working. So everything, and just got on a plane. We went there around my birthday. Best birthday present ever, getting out. So got to LA and started staying at my friend's house. They showed me all the ropes and everything. There were times I would have to bike it from Marina Del Rey to Hollywood just for an interview, and I get in the interview and the shirt was all sweaty, the shirt over there is, whatever it is on the white beater. So it was double sweat because I was on my bike.
Right.
I just got out of the car and it was sweaty, so it was just crazy. So it was a crazy experience. It was basically a boot camp for LA. So then I finally started getting bigger gigs, but they were in North Hollywood. So I went and stayed with my cousin in North Hollywood, and we stayed in this little single apartment. I stayed with a couple people, my one best friend Ashley. I stayed there for a while, but I found out I gotta get my own place. I can't do the roommates. So I just hustled some more, and I got a lot of work done, and I finally saved up enough money to get my own place, a 2-bedroom for $1180. My last place was $700 in the upscale neighborhood of Pittsburgh. So it's a crazy jump. I worked some more. I worked at a lot of startups that shut down a couple months, and your last check, and you gotta be back on the grind again, throwing in 20 apps a day, 20-30 apps a day, and trying to find freelance clients. Starbucks in North Hollywood is a lot of actors and actresses, business people, so you try to go in there and get a little quick gig.
That's a nice background, man. So what do you do now? What's your bread and butter? I know you still do a lot of freelance, but
right now I have my own little business called That's Genius. I started it with a friend, that same friend Ashley. So I basically just contract work. I just consult and with companies, just go there, work there at their office, or I'll work from home. Depends on the how I negotiate the job details. And I usually just do a lot of UI design, working on apps, working on app designs, a lot of UX, which is basically the wireframes, how the site feels, how everything is user friendly, or how people get to parts of the site. Then I do a lot of what's called interaction design, which is basically what is the effects of going from one page to another. Will this fade to another page or slide, or how would you be able to fill out this form. So it's a lot of stuff like that's with design, like a lot of different positions.
What keeps you inspired that, you know what I'm saying, besides the good money that's out here, what keeps you inspired as an artist to do this?
Besides the good money, one of the big things is LA in general. Los Angeles is just it's such a big place, and it has so much stuff to do, so many places to go, a lot of food. It has like 4 different climates. You have desert, mountains, beaches, city. So that's the #1 inspiration. Try and get away from the computer sometimes.
Yeah, and just go out and
go out and do stuff.
Right. Yeah, I feel you, man. Because when you're on that computer, after a while, you know, you get that tunnel vision. Like, I gotta get out of here, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
What inspires me right now is like all the new tech that's coming out. That's what we're gonna have to design for later on. So like we got UHD, which is ultra high definition TV. So we're gonna have to start designing for that. Google Glass, you know, a lot of heavy tech. Websites that I check them out, RSS feeds like Dribble, Smashing Magazine, and books, like a lot of books, study a lot of books. Also, like I said, staying up different media, so I'll look at a lot of photography websites, different media like videos, watching like indie films and stuff, like animations, or just little random stuff I'll see on my RSS feed I subscribe to, so it keeps things like random and cool. And also looking at your competitors and what everybody else is doing. You gotta stay in the community, like see what everybody else is doing, see what stuff they learning, what stuff they're saying on Twitter. You know, don't try and stay in your box and think like, oh, I'm the OG of design, I don't need nobody's help. You ain't gonna ever grow like that. I mean, it's sometimes, you know, it's alright to follow trends, but you know, you just look at trends as, okay, what's happening now, what everybody likes, and then you wanna like either do better, or, you know, do the same or do better, or do something different that's gonna create a new trend, so you can stay ahead.
As an artist, you want to get paid for your work. Mm-hmm. So what kind of inspiration and advice could you give to the younger generations to inspire them to move forward?
Always keep learning more. You do not know it all yet. So like, for example, you start off small, like doing CD covers and stuff. Start learning some HTML and CSS on the side so you can do your own website. And then once you do your own website, you learn all that, then you're like, oh, I can start selling services for websites too. So then you start learning upside, like, okay, I want to do a promo video. And you know, you learn a little bit of stuff here and there, but you don't want to, you always try to at least go into depth, like a couple things, because you, like, you know, Ron Swanson said, you want to like whole ass like one thing, then like half ass like 4 or 5 things, and you just be like mediocre. But at least know like the ins and outs a little bit of it. You don't know all the details. So like, I know design, web design, UI design, and coding, but then like I also kind of know like a little bit about photography. I know a little about back-end development and all like software development, and I know a little bit. So just always keep learning and keep networking. Like, so when you know, meet new people, you go on the communities like Dribble or Delicious, not Delicious, but DeviantArt, what else? Behance, all those places. You know, just add their profiles to people that you like. You know, you like their work, and like talk to them. Don't just watch their work and, you know, comment and everything. They might say something back, and, you know, they might have work for you, like small work that they can't, you know, overflow. So then that gives you small work to tackle. And, you know, if you're trying to start your own business, just friends and families first. Just do work for them. Sometimes we pro bono, sometimes we do like $200-300. But, you know, with all the learning, then you can start, and also, you know, you start doing the business side, trying to get the clients, learn a little bit more business stuff too. So look up a lot of freelanceswitch.com, which has a lot of stuff about, you know, how to run the business side, because you gotta know how to make a profit, or you're gonna be charging like $400 for a website, but then, you know, it actually costed you about $800. So, you know, your profit margins are like nothing. Like, you ain't making no money, and you just keep being broke the whole time. So shout out to my friends first, you know, that helped me, you know, while I'm here. Ben Tang, Ashley Steele, you know, they helped me out while I was here. When I was, you know, they was here, they, you know, there was a little bit much more better situation. So, you know, I was down and out, they came through. So Also my cousin Camille, she's in wrestling, she's doing wrestling now.
You know, how can the people get a hold of you?
Well, you can check my website out at cle2la.com. So that's cletola.com. And basically it's like my portfolio. You can find all my social media stuff. Like I'm on Twitter at TG Chris Porter. If you're a designer, I'm on Dribble TG Chris Porter. That's another tip. Try to keep your brand consistent. So if they want to find you somewhere else, TG Chris Porter. So it's, you know, everywhere else, Facebook,